Yo, what is going on, everybody? This is Mysticall, and today I'm bringing you a guide that I hope many of you find useful, and that is how to manage your mana and how to be better at not running out of mana and preventing yourself from even having to run out of mana. In this guide, we're going to go through rotations, items, traits, essences, everything that you're going to need to know to hopefully, as the game goes on, with more practice, you very rarely will ever run out of mana. And with that said, let's jump right into it. So I think one of the most important things to know So I think one of the most important things you should be doing or have knowledge of before we get into this guide is knowing your abilities. So I'm just going to give you some abilities that you have as a monk that will prevent yourself from running out of mana quickly and easily. And yeah, so I'm going to start with the most important one, and that is Renewing Mist. Now, this Renewing Mist ties into Vivify, but the reason why it is so important to have Renewing Mist on everybody with using as often as you can is because of Vivify. So Renewing Mist, you want to make sure that you're using as often as you can. You always want the recharges. You always want the charges recharging, and the reason for that is because of Vivify. Now, I talked to a few monks, and they really weren't aware of it, but Vivify has a single target heal, which is pretty well known. But if you also see, it heals instantly, and then also heals allies with Renewing Mist on them. So what this means is, if I have this hunter right here, and he has Renewing Mist on him, and I go to heal myself with Vivify, boom, he gets charged for a Vivify heal and the mastery from Vivify. Now, this is really important because now let's say this hunter doesn't have Vivify, or let's say this warrior does have Vivify or Renewing Mist on him, and I go to Vivify myself. The hunter and I get healed, but the warrior doesn't. And that's important. Now, let's say I go to heal my warrior, and you know, there's some spread damage going on. We're all taking a little bit of damage, and there's no renewing mist going out on anybody, and I'm just spamming Vivifies. What you should be doing is always maintaining Renewing Mist on all of your teammates as often as possible to get the most out of your healing, because Vivify is pretty much your go-to way to heal these days. You're very rarely ever using Enveloping Mist. So having Renewing Mist on all of your teammates, boom, boom. So let's say both of these guys have Renewing Mist, and I Vivify myself, these two also get healed. So if there's, let's say I'm playing against TSG, and they're hitting me, but my teammates are stacked to me, and they're taking cleave damage, well, if they're both my teammates have Renewing Mist, and I'm healing myself with Vivify, boom, they're also getting healed as well as myself. And it's even better if you heal somebody with Renewing Mist on them, and you Vivify them, they get the Renewing Mist heal, they get the Vivify heal, and they get the Vivify heal with Renewing Mist active on them. And on top of that, all the mastery that you have, that is just insane how much healing you can do with all you have to do is keep Renewing Mist on all your teammates. That's it. Renewing Mist on all your teammates, Vivify. Now, that also brings me into Thunder Focus Tea. Another very, very crucial. I have an entire video. I'll put a link to it right here. Hello, Baxter. I have a link to it right here. I'll try to get it to work, where I talk about Thunder Focus Tea. But pretty much what we're going to focus on in this video is Thunder Focus Tea into Vivify. Now, this ties into a lot, and I'll do it a little bit at a time, you know. I'm not going to rush it. This might be a longer video. I just want to help you guys understand how to manage your mana correctly. So, Thunder Focus Tea, most of the time, every time you're using Focus Thunder, so you get 2 charges of the empowered spell from Thunder Focus Tea. That means when you use Thunder Focus Tea and you Vivify once, you get a second charge of that, so you can Vivify again. And when you use Vivify, when you have Thunder Focus Tea, it costs no mana. So let's just take that scenario I said before. Let's say there's a TSG, they're training me to the ground, and I keep Renewing Mist on both of my teammates, and I go for a Thunder Focus Tea, and I Vivify myself. You can see both of these guys get healed, and it costs no mana. It costs no mana at all with all of that healing output. Is absolutely insane. So just to reiterate and show how much healing I'm actually doing, I'm going to put Renewing Mist on both these guys. I'm going to get into combat, and I'm going to Thunder Focus Tea, Vivify myself with both of these guys having Renewing Mist, and look at that healing. Look at almost 300,000 healing from my Vivifies. and just keep a Renewing Mist on my teammates. And by the way, that costs no mana because I use both charges of Thunder Focus Tea with Vivify, which is absolutely insane. The last ability that I want to talk about, it's pretty straightforward. Why? It's Mana Tea. So Mana Tea reduces the mana cost of your spells by 50% for 12 seconds on a 1.5-minute cooldown. This is just a good ability. You want to use it as fast as you can during a match. Usually when I'm starting to drop below, like when I get to about 90% mana and I see that the enemy team is popping cooldowns, I'm going to use Mana Tea. It is a little bit tricky to use though, because you do not want to waste Mana Tea. You don't, especially versus comps that you're going to need it, like versus Demon Hunter teams and stuff. So if you're using Zen Focus Tea, it's a good time to use Zen Focus Tea with Mana Tea. You get the guaranteed mana reduction and you get the guaranteed healing off. So that is really, really good. Mana Tea is very, very important, especially on a 1.5-minute cooldown. Innervate has a 3-minute cooldown and it reduces all the cost of abilities, but I prefer Mana Tea with the 1.5-minute cooldown. If you use this correctly, it really drastically helps. You can just tell which monk is using Mana Tea more efficiently, because some of them will run out of mana very quickly, some of them won't, and that's primarily due to Mana Tea and using Thunder Focus Tea efficiently. So we just went over the core abilities for monk, which is Mana Tea, Thunder Focus Tea, and Vivify / Renewing Mist. And there's another layer to that, and that is the trait from your Azurite armor called Secret Infusion. Again, I have an entire video on Thunder Focus Tea and everything about it. If you want to do that, I'll put it in the description. I'll put a card right here if you want to look at that. In this video, we're going to focus primarily on Vivify and what it does in how it interacts with Thunder Focus Tea. So what this does when you use Thunder Focus Tea Vivify on the first charge is it increases your mastery. Now remember before, so here it's going to get a lot, but I'm going to show you how much healing you can do. If I put Renewing Mist, my mastery right now is 97%, which means every time I use Enveloping Mist, Vivify, or Renewing Mist, it's going to instantly heal for 18,000. Can I heal this guy? Okay, cool. So that's what happens. You see that extra heal when I first ready, it's going to be an extra heal right there. That's my mastery. Now what this means is when I Thunder Focus Tea and Vivify, my mastery is going to jump up. It's going to jump up to, should be about 190%. And it's going to make my instant healing from Renewing Mist, Enveloping Mist, and Vivify by 36,000. So instantly, just instantly heals for 36,000. So what this means is if I have Renewing Mist on this guy, on Spam Clone, and this guard right here, and I Thunder Focus Tea, Vivify, double Vivify, for no mana at all, I'm going to be healing for about 40,000 each with an additional 36,000. I'm going to try and give you guys the overhealing. So I was doing 356k right there, and I'll show you guys. Let's see if we can get better than that. So again, Renewing Mist on both your teammates, Thunder Focus Tea, boom, Vivify. Oh, I didn't go into combat, but you see the instant healing, and then you still have the Secret Infusion buff for Renewing Mists if you need to put them out. Just make sure you use them for Vivify because it's really important. You get the mastery increase from Secret Infusion. It costs no mana thanks to the Thunder Focus Tea, and the second charge doesn't cost any mana because of Focus Thunder talent. It's a little bit complicated, but what it boils down to is just keep Renewing Mist on all your teammates and use your Thunder Focus Tea charges on Vivify. Let's talk about essences real quick. They're the newest system. If anyone's newer coming back to the game, this is the new system where you do different aspects of WoW and you get essences for it. This is the primary mana essence you'll be using. It's Memory of Lucid Dream. It has a 2-minute cooldown and it increases the mana regeneration rate by 100%. It increases your leech too, but that's not really that important. It does a little bit of healing, but that's not too important. And then the minor for it is it actually gives your spells and abilities a chance to refund 50% of the mana, and then it could heal you and increase your versatility. But most importantly, it can refund 50% of the mana, and the major is absolutely insane. So this has a 2-minute cooldown. There's nothing really else to say about it. You want to use this so usually I try to stagger the cooldowns of Mana Tea and Memory of Lucid Dream. You could stack them too. They have different cooldowns, so the first time you use them both, you could stack them technically, no problem. But after that, you're going to be staggering them quite often. I use Memory of Lucid Dream first because it has a longer cooldown, so I'll use that at about, I don't know, if if I can't get a mana tea, like if the other team, enemy team has kicks, you know, and I don't feel like I can cast, or maybe they're sitting on top of me and I can't, you know, get a cast off, I'm stunned, I'll just Memory of Lucid Dream, and then after it's over, I'll Mana Tea, just so I could, you know, get the cooldowns rolling. The other essence that is pretty good. Now, you don't want to use the major of it, but you do want to use the minor of it. The Ever Rising Tide, the major is not really good because it actually overcharges your mana for 8 seconds, meaning it stops your mana regeneration completely. So you do not want that to happen. But the Ever Rising Tide minor, which would go into one of these slots right here, has a chance to restore 3,000 mana, just like that, you know, just restores, you know, or it increases your intellect. Both are really, really good, but obviously you want the mana if it's, you know, a mana fight. You don't really have the a choice. So, yeah, Ever Rising Tide, really good minor. And that's pretty much it for mana essences for healers and in general. There's just no other mana essences. Now, very briefly, I just want to talk about items that can help you with mana. There's only one item that I know of that restores mana, and that is from the Temple of Sethryllis dungeon. If you go to dungeons and you go to Temple of Sethryllis loot, you should see, this is for, should be from Mistweaver. It'll be this trinket right here, Fangs of Intertwined Essence. Your next 6 healing spells restore X amount of mana. I actually have a 455 version of it, so it restores 1,500 mana each. And basically, you could use this however you want. As long as you're not at 100% mana, you're going to get value out of it. And what you're going to do is just going to use it. And you see you get 6 stacks right here. And you can just, boom, Renewing Mist. Renewing Mist, you can even Thunder Focus Tea, Vivify for no mana. So again, it's all centered around Thunder Focus Tea, Vivify. For no mana at all, I'm going to top a teammate. And then I'm going to restore a ton of mana. So I'm trying to drill it into your heads. Thunder Focus Tea, double Vivify. And again, that is Fangs of Intertwined Essence from any version of Temple of Sethryllis. Now, if you're really trying to min-max your mana, there's also an enchant that restores mana. I believe it's called, let's come down here, Oceanic Restoration. There's a chance where it will increase your mana and restore, or increase your intellect and restore 400 mana. Pretty solid. I do not run this enchant. I prefer Versatile or Mechanics Brilliance, that's right. It gives you the mastery proc. You could also use Versatile Navigation if you want the extra versatility, if it's an alt and you're very low on versatility. But again, if you're struggling with mana, you could definitely use that enchant. Now, again, I just want to talk about the mindset you should have as a Mistweaver and as a healer in general. What you should be thinking about during a game. Now, for monks, and this is how it's always been since we were brought into this game, and to help with your mana, you want to avoid as much damage as you can. Like, avoid. So, one spell I didn't talk about was Healing Elixirs. It restores 15% of your maximum health per charge, and this costs 0 mana. It is an instant 15% heal to yourself that costs 0 mana. So if your team is rotting, if you're standing back here and I don't know, you're playing against some kind of like rogue Destrolock or something, and you got Renewing Mist on your teammates, but maybe the Destrolock has some kind of dot on you with a pet on you, and you're dropping to like 85% health or something, just use a Healing Elixir. It costs no mana. It is literally free healing on you. So just use your Healing Elixirs. Now outside of that, again, you want to avoid as much damage as possible. Truly, especially in 2s, I see a lot of people struggling with mana in 2s quite often. It just press Life Cocoon. That's it. If you see the rogue Disc Priest using Dark Arc and Vendetta, and you're trying to heal through it, I mean, sure, you can Thunder Focus Tea, double Vivify, but eventually you're gonna have to throw in probably an Enveloping Mist, and it's probably gonna get purged instantly from the priest. So just throw out Life Cocoon and then do your Vivify. The Life Cocoon gives you more healing, increases the healing of your direct heals, and it's a what is it, 55-second cooldown? It's a 55-second cooldown. Just throw it out there. If the rogue swaps to you, port, and then use your Healing Elixirs if he's still swapping to you. If he's still running after you, you want to avoid damage, so you just Ring of Peace and just keep avoiding and running and running. Because by the time he gets to you, you're going to have your port back up. Hopefully you're playing short port. And you'll be able to port away. And then even if you're using mana, you can use your Trinket. If he still connects you, you can use your Mana Tea, Zen Focus Tea, Thunder Focus Tea. Boom, you get that instant healing here. So it's the mindset of a monk and healers in general, some healers, not all, but especially for monk, is you want to avoid as much damage as possible. And that's not just you, that's also your DPS. If you're playing with the Windwalker, they take a lot of damage. They can't just sit and take damage. So again, if you're in CC and your monk is in trouble, just have him port and just have him heal up. It's saving you a ton of mana. He's taking less damage. It's a win-win for everybody. So again, avoid as much damage as you can. Don't be afraid to use Life Cocoon. Just don't be afraid to use it. Obviously, in 3s, it can get, you want to trade cooldowns for some cooldowns or have cooldowns when some cooldowns come up. But in 2s, primarily, just if you don't want to waste the mana, just press your Life Cocoon. So finally, let's just talk about the rotation. I know I've been drilling Thunder Focus Tea, Vivify into your brains, but let's just talk about the most efficient way to heal. So there is something I used to do quite often at the beginning of this expansion, and that is I would overlap my Mana Tea with Thunder Focus Tea. So what I would do is I would press Mana Tea, and then I would Thunder Focus Tea, and then I would double Vivify. That is extremely inefficient because Thunder Focus Tea is already making Vivify cost no mana. So there's no reason to use Mana Tea before Thunder Focus Tea double Vivify. The correct way to do it is to use your Thunder Focus Tea and get your first charge of Vivify, get that additional mastery, use the second charge of Vivify, and then use your Mana Tea into Zen Focus Tea if you want, into Enveloping Mist, because you're gonna have Mana Tea up, and then get your Renewing Mist out. So that's the most efficient way to use your Mana Tea, Thunder Focus Tea. Again, it's okay. It's okay to overlap the your Mana Tea with Memory of Lucid Dream. They're both helping your mana. They're both fine. It's best to stagger them, just so you're not like in a drought, literally a drought, pun intended, of not getting any mana back. You also want to stagger your trinket, so you have 3 if you're lucky enough to get the trinket. So you have 3 big cooldowns you want to be rotating continuously. You want Mana Tea, actually it's 4. You want Mana Tea, Memory of Lucid Dream, Major, Fangs of Intertwined Essence if you have it, and Thunder Focus Tea. Those 4 cooldowns you just want to keep rotating throughout the match. And let me tell you something, you want to be doing this from the start of the match. Don't wait until you're at 20% mana to then start being efficient at healing, to use those Thunder Focus Teas on your Vivifies, or start remembering, oh yeah, I have Mana Tea, or maybe you should use your trinket. Start doing it at the beginning of the match, from start to end. Just practice it. It is worth it. It's going to extend your mana so much. I'm telling you, there was one game where this trinket literally it restored 70,000 mana. It was absolutely absurd. If you could just extend the game, that's all your teams need, because usually teams think, oh, it's a Mistweaver, they're pretty bad on mana. We're actually not. I was talking about this on stream the other day. We're probably one of the best healers for mana right now if you can do it correctly, if you can rotate your cooldowns. So again, I showed you before, you don't want to overlap Mana Tea with Thunder Focus Tea. What you want to do is you want to, here I'll try and be in combat so you can just see the healing. You want to Thunder Focus Tea, do the double Vivifies, get that mastery buff. So now you have a huge mastery buff. Then Mana Tea, Zen Focus Tea, and then if you need to enveloping, throw out the enveloping, and then also get your Renewing Mist out and throw out an enveloping or a Vivify if you have to. And by the time you're done with that, you have Mana Tea gone, and you're still at 100% mana. I mean, look at that. I mean, it's so it can be a little bit tricky at first when you're learning the interactions between Thunder Focus Tea, Vivify, Focus Thunder with the second charge, Secret Infusion buffs. I mean, it can be a lot at first, but once you get it down, you get in the pattern of practicing it. You get more comfortable with it. I'm not gonna say it's straightforward, because even I mess it up sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. There are some times where I Thunder Focus Tea and I enveloping Mist by accident. I mean, that just happens. And that's just constant improvement. And yeah, I think that is pretty much it. That's really everything I wanted to talk about. I don't think there's anything I'm missing. Again, I can do a little TLDR. Use your Thunder Focus Tea on double Vivifies, Mana Tea, and then that's when you use your Enveloping Mist and your double Renewing Mist to have the mana reduction on them. You also want to use your Memory of Lucid Dream pretty much off cooldown. As long as you're not at 100% mana, you definitely want to use your Memory of Lucid Dream as fast as possible. If you're lucky enough to get Fangs of Intertwined Essence, I would do that. Again, it's not mandatory, but it's really, really good in 2s. Like, I was struggling in 2s before with mana, especially versus Demon Hunters, Assassination Rogues, and this pretty much solved that pretty easily. And again, the mindset of the healer, you want mindset. You want to avoid as much damage as possible. Just avoid, have your teammates try to avoid, and yeah, that's pretty much it. If anyone has any questions, please let me know. I struggled with mana for a very, very long time. I mean, I'm talking, I started playing Monk and Wad, and it took me like the entire expansion plus Legion, half a Legion to not struggle. So again, if you have any questions, I am happy to answer them. And that is pretty much it. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you later.